Hello everyone, this is HammerTron here with a new action figure review for you. Now this time I am reviewing an action figure vehicle playset. This is the Animal Planet Dino Expedition set. It comes in a box with an open box, so we can actually touch the items in the set. So right now this is a Target exclusive. The box does say the year 2020, but I think this toy is actually older than that because Animal Planet used to be a Toys R Us exclusive, and I think this set was released before through Toys R Us. However, that was a little bit different. It came in a different kind of package with a plastic window, so we couldn't touch it. There are some other differences that I'll point out in a moment here. So this is a really nice looking vehicle. I really liked it. So I saw this in the store at the time, and I looked at it a little bit, not very closely. So I'll explain in just a moment here. But here are a couple of buttons for some sound effects. Okay, so there's two buttons, and I think there's three sounds on each button. So it's an interesting feature. I like the sounds. Here's the figure. Now, what's nice about these open packages is you can touch this and examine this. And apparently I didn't look very closely because if you look carefully here, there's no actual windshield. A little hard to see from this angle. Also, if we look through the top here, it's a little hard to see in the seat there, but there's actually no seat and no steering wheel. So the front part doesn't have any clear plastic. It's just painted black, so it's solid plastic. So I'm a little disappointed about that, and I didn't even notice it at first. And I actually ended up buying this online, and after I received this and I noticed it, I looked at the picture again, and it's very clear. There is no clear windshield. So in the future I should just be more careful about examining what I'm getting. So anyway, here is the front of the package. Here is the top. There is the bottom. Discovery Communication owns Animal Planet, and this toy was produced or sold by Blip Toys. Here is one side. Here is the other side. I like this picture. Nice scary picture of a dinosaur. And here's the back. That shows what we get in the package. It's not very clear that there's no windshield, and we can't tell if there's a seat or steering wheel or not. And then here's some of the things we can do with it. So I will take this out and review the set itself in just a moment. Here are the sprues with some of the accessories. I haven't taken the accessories off yet, but I kind of liked how the sprues looked. It looks like the edges here look like they're meant to be like bones or something. So I don't think those are part of the accessories. It's just a nice decorative sprue that they made for this part in this color here. And these others here, they've also added some dinosaur footprints around the sprues here. I don't think they come off the sprue, and I don't think we use them as part of the playset. It just looks nice. Here are the accessories that come with this set. It's a very interesting set. It's a lot of equipment for paleontology. So I like that. However, I'm disappointed with a lot of the accessories. This is meant to be some kind of light, and when we take it off the sprue, there's still some plastic sticking out. We can maybe file that down, but I'm not sure how well it'll balance in a display. So we might have to get something extra to stick this onto to help it maintain balance. And perhaps that's a camera, some tools for sifting through dirt to find small fragments of bone, some kind of power saw, might be an egg of some kind. And here's a backpack. It certainly looks like it's meant to be a backpack, and there that plugs into back of something, but there is just no way that is going to fit into this action figure with only peg holes. And I'm not sure those are really meant to be peg holes anyway. That's just where the screws go, so it just can't fit. And some other sifting equipment, and rake or brush, a cast of a footprint, and some kind of brush, and a rake, and another egg. And this thing is meant to be a Triceratops skull, so very narrow and small. So it's just a suggestion. And a first aid kit, some kind of tool, another tool. Now, most of these things cannot actually be held in the hand of the action figure. It's just way too loose. The hand of the action figure is too large for most of this to fit in. So that's very disappointing, because it just doesn't stay there. And here's a flag with a dinosaur skull on one side. Nothing there. So it looks nice, but it's not very functional with the action figure, so that's a bit disappointing. Here are the two dinosaurs that come with this set. They're both static models. They don't have any joints or points of articulation. I will look at them individually in just a moment. Here is the smaller dinosaur in this set. Let's take a look at the dimensions here. Looks like it's about 5.5 inches long at the longest point. At the widest point, it's a little more than 1.5 inches wide. And at the highest point, up to the tip of the tail there, looks like it is almost 4.5 inches tall. So I'm happy that this dinosaur figure can stand stably and it's not wobbly. So I'm happy about that. They've done a lot of nice sculpting work on it. They put some nice details, and there's some paint on it. Although, especially here in the lower jaw, it looks like the paint was sloppily applied. But it is a very cheap or inexpensive figure, so I guess we can't expect too much. Although it'd be nice if it did look nice. It does look nice for the most part. Now, here it's very shiny here. I think this is some extra glue, because it looks like there's a seam in the middle, so it's at least two parts that they've glued together here to create this little dinosaur figure. But looks nice. Here is the larger dinosaur from the set. Let's take a look at the dimensions of this dinosaur figure. Looks like at the longest point it's about 9 inches long. At the widest point, with the head tilted off to the side there, looks like it's about almost 3 inches wide at the widest point. And I think the highest point is the head there. So a little more than 6 inches tall. So it's a nicely sized dinosaur figure. It has no joints or points of articulation, but they did sculpt it pretty nicely here. There's a lot of texture in it with some scales, and they painted it. There's a lot of paint work there. Here is a massive seam, so I don't think they put it together quite completely. So it looks like it's 2 parts that they've glued together, and this bottom part here didn't connect. So it's a little bit disappointing, but not a big deal. If we look at the eyes, it looks like there's a white dot painted on each eyeball. So I think that's just meant to make it look shiny and simulate moisture in the eyes. And they've sculpted the teeth in there, and it looks like the paint has been applied nicely there in the mouth. They've also painted the claws on the either the hands or the forearms, and also the legs or hind legs. And it is pretty stiff, so that's good. Now the feet are not perfectly flat, but it still stands stably, so I'm happy that it stands stably. It's nice to be able to keep it standing to put in a display. So I think it's a nice looking dinosaur figure despite the big seam in the middle there. Here is our adventurer figure that comes with the set. So if we take a look at the dimensions, he's a little more than 4 inches tall. So just a little bit bigger than 1/18 scale. And if we take a look here, it's all a bit shiny, so I think they use harder type plastic because it does feel pretty hard. So the harder plastic is just a bit shinier, but they did put some painted details on it, so that's nice. So not very sharp features, so it is a harder plastic, so perhaps they can't put as fine details on it as they can with softer, more pliable plastic. But it seems to do the job. It looks like an adventurer. Just very shiny. Let's take a look at the articulation here. So the head can turn. The arms move at the shoulder, just up and down. And there are elbow joints. They're very, very loose, so I don't think they're going to hold up very well because it feels like it could just fall apart at any time. No articulation in the body there, just at the hip joints. They move up and down. They move back. And then there are knee joints. And that is it for the articulation, and it does stand stably. There are also peg holes on the heels, so that's interesting, and they've sculpted some treads or tracks on the bottom of the boots, so they did put a little bit of effort into it. Looks all right. I think it'll serve the purpose of having an adventurer in this set. Here is the vehicle. The main reason I bought this set, because I think it just looks cool. Well, especially from this angle, it does look cool. And I made a happy discovery. I didn't realize this at first, but when you push the button for the sounds, you get some headlights. So only the headlights flash. There are no tail lights on this thing. So I was happy about that little discovery. I just think it looks nice. It's painted on this side. We have the buttons there. Some nice decoration on the hood. And it's also painted on this side. There's some texturing here. We have a nice cage. And there's the front. Some nice little extra details. Some lights up here. So here, these are just stickers that are attached to it, because if you hold up the plastic through the light, it's a little bit translucent. You can actually see the light shining through, and you can see the black paint here. You can see where the paint is on the side. So very thin plastic. I'm not sure if you can actually see it there, but I'm a little disappointed about how thin and cheap it appears to be. The wheels, I like the fact that they're very big. They look nice, but the axle just moves around too much, I think. And the wheels are hollow on the inside, so I'm not too surprised. That's not much of a problem. At the bottom here, we can put in some batteries for the sound. So we don't want to be pushing this through a muddy river or anything. And here is the cage. Looks nice. And we have a better look in the inside. So no steering wheel and just barely a suggestion of a seat. And let's see if I can put the figure in there. So we can get him to stand in there. That's what he looks like standing. And then we can bend the legs and have him sitting. So, not too bad. Not too bad. I guess we don't really need much of an interior, although I would prefer more clear plastic for the windows there. And it does roll nicely, so that's good. We can open this up, and it works. And then we just click it into place to keep it shut. It's very pliable. So it looks alright. Just a little disappointing about the front, but if we look carefully in the open package, we can see it. So we shouldn't be too surprised when we see something like that. It's a little harder to see inside, but if we look carefully, we'll be able to see the defects. What's even harder to see is just how translucent the plastic is, and that just means that it's pretty cheap and thin. Here, this is with the Rust Lord action figure, 4-inch action figure by Jazzwares from Fortnite, and the other adventure from the other Animal Planet set. So they scale together nicely. Here we have the adventurer and dinosaur with the Fortnite Legendary Series Havoc by Jazzwares, 6 inches, and the Marvel Legends Mr. Fantastic by Hasbro at 6 inches. Here's the adventurer and dinosaur with the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin White Ranger at 6 inches, and the Masters of the Universe Masterverse He-Man action figure at 7 inches. Here are the Mighty Morphin White Ranger from Power Rangers Lightning Collection and He-Man from Masters of the Universe Masterverse with the Adventurer and Vehicle. Here are Marvel Legends Mr. Fantastic by Hasbro and Fortnite Legendary Series Havoc by Jazzwares, 6 inches each, next to the Adventurer and Vehicle. Here are the 4-inch action figures, the first Adventurer from the Animal Planet set I reviewed before, and the 4-inch Rust Lord from the Fortnite series by Jazzwares. So I think they scale together nicely. The HammerTron Sledgehammer rating is just not very good at all. I'm just so unhappy with it. Even though we can inspect it in the store, it just turned out to be worse than I thought it would be. And as I was reviewing it and handling it, I was just getting more and more disappointed with it, because it's just a waste of plastic and a waste of money. I've gathered up the accessories and put them in a plastic baggie, and I'm sliding it under the hammer. I would smash it, but I just don't believe in breaking things. I don't want to break it, but this is representative of how much I dislike it. It's got to be smashed. And this action figure, I mentioned these joints were loose, and the pin in this arm actually fell out while I was handling it. It's a good thing I managed to find the pin and I was able to put it back together, but it's just going to fall apart. Anybody playing with this thing outside is going to lose it, and then this action figure is just not going to have an arm. I just think it's a waste of plastic. Things shouldn't fall apart, especially when this is the first time I've handled it. The first time I pulled it out of the box, and within a few minutes it was falling apart within my hands. Unbelievable. So, got to go under that hammer. He's getting squashed. The dinosaurs, they actually look nice. I just wish they had put them together more nicely. It wasn't immediately obvious in the package, so I'll give it a slight pass. The same thing with this one. Although we could see the paint job, I'll give it a slight pass because we can actually see it. And the vehicle, a little more disappointing than I thought it would be, even though if we look carefully we can see it, so they're not really trying to hide it from us, but the thinness and cheapness of the plastic were somewhat translucent. I wasn't expecting that, so it looks cool, but still kind of disappointing. So gotta put all this, well, under the hammer. It's got to be smashed, but I'm not going to really smash it because I just don't believe in breaking things. Thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews. And let me know if you would ever consider picking up something like this. Until next time, goodbye everyone.